And then she wrote back to me, and surprisingly, she was like, hey, Reverie, I know who you are. I've been meaning to message you about coming to Europe, but I hadn't gotten around to it. And I've been meaning to do it for months, so thank you for reaching out.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we were exchanging emails and messages for like 6 months, and then next thing you know, I had my first tour in Europe. And I think I went to France, Germany, and Portugal. And it was probably only like 5 or 6 dates, but it went really well. It was like hundreds of people at every show, and some were sold out, and it was just like really crazy. I went with Loudon, and so that was the start of that relationship. And then now I'm gonna go back next month, and it's gonna be my 17th tour over there over the last like 9 years, I think it's been now.
That's crazy.
So I've been there a lot of times.
Now, I heard you tell someone in an interview that the craziest audience is in France. Why do the French people go crazy for Reverie?
Well, first, the craziest audience is for sure LA. Gotta give it to my city.
Well,
LA is
I'm
crazy.
Abroad.
Yeah, but abroad, for sure, France, the Frenchies, they love fucking hip hop. Like and they love to party, and they love to drink, and their culture is like, it's very like intense. That's what I would say about the French. Their culture is very intense. So when I go over there, I don't know, they just really fuck with my music, and they fuck with me. And you know, one thing about me is that I make music, but I also am an influencer, and I let people know who I am. You know, a lot of artists, they just make music, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shitting on that. But I share a lot of myself with my audience. So I feel like my audience loves my music, but they also love me. They have a personal love for me, for Jordan, you know, like as a person. So I feel like that's also why people go crazier at my shows, because I'm like their homegirl, you know. But friends, they just go so crazy. I'm gonna go to France next month, so I'm so excited. I haven't been over there for like 2.5 years since the whole COVID thing happened. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, which European city have you been to where you know they love you, but the crowd is very calm and relaxed, but they're still loving your vibe?
I would say for sure that's Switzerland. Switzerland is very chill. And I remember the first time when I performed there, I was like, do I like suck or something? Like, what is happening? I'm like performing, like, make noise. They're like, yeah. You know, but in France, they're like, yeah, screaming with the whistle. And like, you know, but I was like, what the hell? And I remember when I got off the stage, I was like a little bit disappointed. I was like, man, I came all the way. This is my first time here. Like, what the fuck, you know? And then the promoter told me, he's like, oh, don't worry, you did a really good job, but the Swiss, they just don't really get that crazy. And I remember I was like, I don't know, I think they didn't like me. But then afterwards, I went out to go meet everybody, and everybody was like, wow, it was amazing, blah. And they all ended up telling me the same thing. I know you expected us to be crazier, but the Swiss are not, it's just not really in our culture. So all the cultures are very different, and I didn't know shit about Europe. Like, geography was not my strong suit when as a kid, and I didn't know anything about Europe until I started going there, to be honest with you. And now I have come to really love Europe and the cultures out there. It's such a blessing to be able to experience that. I always tell people one of the most important things, best advice I could give people about getting the most out of life is to travel. Like, traveling is so educational, it's unbelievable. And I've been exposed to so much traveling out there, and I feel like I really attribute a lot of my artistic influence to traveling so much, because before I started going to Europe, I just always dressed like sweats and a beanie and a hoodie, and I was just like always just gangster rap, like that's all I was doing, you know. But when I started going over there, I was just exposed to so much different art and so much different culture and so many different people. And also in the United States too, I started touring more in the United States, other states. And I was just starting being exposed to all these things. So I feel like that's, if you look at the timeline of my career and me as a person, you'll see that when I started touring, the more I started touring and the more places I was touring at, the more different my music started sounding, the more different my fashion started getting, the more intellectual I was becoming, the more different languages I'm learning. You know, it's all connected, and I'm really grateful for that experience. You know, it's taken me outside of my city and allowed me to become the artist that I am today.
Now, how bizarre is it when you go to a European country, let's just say Barcelona, and everybody there is just feeling your music? You know, this is like 10,000 miles away from LA.
It's a trip. it's crazy going to other countries and seeing people sing my lyrics, seeing people wear my Satori Mob, seeing people with my lyrics tattooed on their skin. It's like crying in my arms, hugging me, you know, and it's really crazy. And then it just goes back to me saying like or how you said my music, it really touches people, and it touches people old and young. It doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. A lot of my music can resonate with most people because I talk about just things that we all go through, the life struggles that we're all trying to hide from the rest of the world. You know, we don't want anybody to see us weak. We don't want people to know that we're struggling. We don't want people to know that we're going through a breakup or a family issue or a financial issue or whatever it is. These are things that we're all dealing with constantly, you know, and people resonate with that. And I feel like those issues are global, and they always will be. So I feel like that's why I can connect with people around the world. And then also the music sounds really dope. Like, I'm proud of my sound. I love how I sound. I don't think I sound like someone. Like, people when I first started, they would say, oh, you sound like this person. You sound like that person. It's like people that I was listening to at the time, you know. But now people don't tell me that I sound like someone anymore. Like, I feel like I have really a sound going on, and I really am thank myself for that, for stepping out of the box and just doing what I wanted, and again, like I said, not paying attention to the numbers, not really worrying about the stats on YouTube or the stats on Spotify. You know, I'm an artist. I always tell people, before I'm a rapper, I'm an artist, and I just really love doing the kind of art that I want, and I feel like that's what's separating me from people.
Thanks for watching StreetTV.net. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button below and click the bell to receive alerts and notifications. Feel free to comment below so you can give us your feedback, and be sure to watch the 2 related episodes to the right. If you want to support this platform or follow us on social media, visit the links in the description. And thanks for watching StreetTV.net.